Welcome to episode 7 of the Colour Theory series. We've talked about what the colour wheel palette is and how it works, the complementaries and how you mix colours from it, as well as how you can customize these 12 colours. But of course, as artists, we want to be able to use more than 12 colours, and we want to be able to use our favourite colours as well as these colours. So how do we go from this very restricted, very structured 12 colour palette to however large a palette you want to use, but keep all the functionalities, the mechanisms and the usefulness of the 12 colour palette that you spent so long learning into a real life working palette? I'm going to show you how in this episode. The simple answer to how do you go from this palette to this palette is you make sure you keep the structure of this palette intact. That is the color wheel arrangement of the 12 colors as well as where they are in relation to each other. Now, of course, in a perfect world, we'll be able to find a palette with as many number of wheels as we personally need that is still this perfect circle, but reality is it's not that easy. You guys know 12 well took me long enough to find, but you can still use a normal palette like this and create a color wheel. And you can see that I start with the yellows like here, and then move to the oranges, reds, the pinks, the violets and the blues, the greens, and you can see that I've added lots more colors to it than the basic 12 colors. And the first step in getting from here to here is make color swatches of the 12 colors that you already have as your color wheel palette choice, as well as all the colors you want to add in your palette. So I have these swatches I've already made. These are the color wheel colors, and these are the additional colors that I want to add to the set. For the colors around the color wheel, I do have 11 colors instead of 12, and if you're wondering why, then do check out the previous episode in which I changed out the yellow orange as well as the 2 green colors for these colors. For these colors, do make sure you note down where they come from. So this is A, B, C, D, E, F, and then bracket A, bracket B, bracket C, bracket D, bracket E and F. And that's just because you don't want to be losing track of your main 12 color wheel colors, and so you just mark out their position on the color wheel like I showed you before. And this will help you to keep track of where the complementary colors for all the colors are going to lie. Now that we have these 11 colors, we can arrange them in a way that you want in your palette. In my case, I like to have my yellow here, and so I'm just going to rearrange them in reverse order and in some sort of a circle, because otherwise we're going to run out of space, and just making sure everything fits in the camera. So if you like your yellows to start from this side and then go that way, then you can do it that way too. And then what we're going to do is take the rest of these cards and figure out where they fit. So we're going to want to recreate the color wheel and figure out roughly where these colors are all going to fit, and that's just about temperatures. And if you're not sure how to tell a color is warm or cool, then do go back to episode 1 where I talk about warm and cool colors and how you tell them apart. But you can take, say, this color and go, well, this is more yellow than this, so it has to go more towards the yellow, so we're going to have this color here. I have Aurelian here. Now, it is definitely not more red than the permanent yellow deep. That means it has to go here. Queen Coral, I would say it's definitely more orange than Scarlet Lake, but more red than Vermilion Hue, so that color is going to go here. And we just carry on like that. Pyrrole Rubin, it has more of a blue than the Scarlet Lake, so we'll put it here. Sap Green, I would say, is a little bit more yellow than the Hooker's Green, so it's going to go towards the yellow than the Hooker's Green. Phthalo Blue red shade is, I would say, somewhere between Ultramarine and Phthalo Blue Yellow shade. So we have roughly put most of the colors into a color wheel along with the main color wheel colors. I just have the neutrals left, and there are several things you can do about where you want your neutrals to be on your palette, and it's totally personal taste. My choice is to just stick it at the end. It's kind of outside of the main bright colors, and that's just because I don't use neutrals all that much. It's only when I'm doing urban sketch practices that I use these colors. So for me, they go at the end of the palette, kind of outside. Second option is to have it at the beginning of the palette. And the third option is to just try to figure out roughly where your neutrals go within the palette, in case you want it that way, and in case you need to neutralize the neutrals even more than what they already have. I would say this yellow ochre goes somewhere between the permanent yellow deep and the queen gold, and the burnt umber probably go somewhere between these two, if that's where you want them. The final option is to just go without the neutrals entirely, and that's what I did for a really, really long time. Until I started doing urban sketching, where in Edinburgh there's lots of sandstone, and so yellow ochre comes in really handy for that. I never needed a neutral personally because I know how to neutralize all these colors. And you can in fact create neutrals like yellow ochre and burnt umber from these really bright colors. If creating neutral colors from these bright colors is something that interests you, do let me know in the comments down below. If I get enough comments saying, yes, I want to learn how to do that, then I will create a separate episode explaining to you how you can create these neutral colors from the bright colors. So that is an option you have for your palette if you're not big on doing nature scenes and landscapes. Once you've decided where all these colors are going to go, all you have to do is translate this layout and this order onto your palette. And that's what we have here. So we have Aurelian here, permanent yellow here, queen gold, trans red oxide, vermilion hue, queen coral, scarlet lake, Pyrrole Ruby, Queen Rose, so on and so forth. The most important thing here though is when you put your paints to your palette, you also translate the A, B, C, D, E, F, A bracket, B bracket, and so on and so forth onto your palette, so you know exactly where your color wheel colors are. So here you can see A, B, C, D, E, F, so on and so forth, all the way around. And that is because that is going to help you when it comes to neutralizing any colors, not just the color wheel colors themselves. So let's take Cavazo Violet as an example. Say I want to neutralize Cavazo Violet, very nice color. What color do I go for? Well, I'm going to get a really good starting ground if I take the nearest color that is part of the color wheel color, and you know that by the fact that you've labeled it with these alphabets, and the nearest color wheel color to the Cavazo Violet is the Ultramarine Violet, and take its complementary color because we know that these two colors neutralize each other out. So let's try that first. And it does a pretty good job of neutralizing this purple. However, remember that the Cavazo Violet is a lot more red than the Ultramarine Violet. So if we want a better neutralization, remember we have the color wheel and you start off here, and if your actual color moves more towards the red, then your complementary color also needs to tilt. In this case, we're going to go slightly more towards red, so the perfect color for color mixing is going to be slightly more towards the green, and we have Aurelian for that in this palette. So let's try the Aurelian and see if it's a good match. There we go. I would say that this is more neutralized than this. This has a more reddish hue to it, whereas this is more close to a neutral gray. And this is how you can neutralize any colors if you keep the structural integrity, as in the color of the color wheel, and you label all the well positions from the color wheel to the corresponding color. It's going to make your life a lot easier in terms of being able to have a really good guess as to what color is going to perfectly neutralize any color that is in your palette. And with practice, you will learn if any of these colors are out of order and not where they should be. I have to make a confession, and in making this video I did pick Queen Coral to begin with and tried neutralizing with the complementary color for D and C and realized that Queen Coral's in the wrong place. It neutralizes fine with Hooker's Green, so it should actually be probably over here between the Pyrrole Ruby and Queen Rose. So you will learn if any of these colors need moving around very quickly as you use this kind of palette. So that was how you can translate a 12-hour palette into a palette that you're going to be able to use in your studio with all the colors you actually want to use, but still have the usefulness of having the functionality of the color wheel palette, i.e. being able to neutralize any color you want that is on your palette. I really hope you have a lot of fun converting your 12 chosen color wheel colors into a fully fledged studio palette. Do please share with me your beautiful palette. I would love to see what you've done with your colors. Share it to me on Instagram or Twitter. I'd love to see it. This is the end of the color mixing section of the color theory series. I really hope that color now feels a lot easier to understand, that they're not as scary, and that you're able to mix colors that you want with confidence. With just few tweaks to your palette, you're going to have zero stress color mixing for the rest of your life. If this series was useful to you and changed the way you look at colors, and only if you're able to do so, then please do consider supporting this channel over on my Patreon page, which is patreon.com/Oto Kano. I really appreciate your support over on Patreon as well as on here, because you guys just keep me going so much, especially through my depression, which I'm going through now. I know I don't sound depressed at the moment, and that's because I put on a perky voice to be able to record these videos for you, because I don't want to make a depressing video. But you guys have been a wonderful support and encouragement while I go through my depression. And I'm not talking just financial. You guys have been there for me through the audio hangouts and listening to them and giving me feedbacks and encouragement to keep on going even through this tough time. So thank you so much. This series is now going to move on to the color schemes for painting section of the color theory. I hope you join me in those videos. And in the meantime, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!